What is up? What is up? I'm gonna turn the AC off for the beginning because I know. Oh, dude, I don't even have the mic on. I know that I'm a sound technician, man, and I don't like that sound of the AC. Dude, it is hot as hell. It is hotter than 100 hamburgers up in the Philippines, man. Check this out without a doubt, man. Hey, we are back talking about the Carmelo Anthony. And I wanted to bring y'all this, man, because Carmelo Anthony case is, I hate to say this, it's a lot of race issues going on in the case, which doesn't have anything to do with two athletes. One of them went under the wrong tent. They asked him to leave. He pulled out a knife, stabbed the guy, and now he's saying self-defense, even though he said, hit me and see what's going to happen. Or you do this, I dare you to touch me. And you can't provoke somebody. They asked you to leave, bro. All you had to do was just leave. I know your feelings was hurt because, you don't want to make me, whatever. So, Dr. Umar, man, I really respect Dr. Umar, and I hope he's going to bring some light to this situation. I hope that he's not going to jump out there on the race side and say a lot of things that he ain't had no business saying. So anyway, we're going to find out. Let's hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy out, man. This is on the Art of Dialogue. Are we? Yeah, there we go.
Well said, man. Gotta ask you about this Carmelo Anthony situation. How you feel about that?
Carmelo Anthony. Art, if you go back and take a look at the slave codes in all of the original 13 colonies, and if you look at the slave codes in any of the slave states of America, you will find that black men or women never had a right to defend themselves against a white assailant. You could not fight back against your slave master, nor could you fight back against any white person for any reason. If they rape you, you couldn't fight back. If they hit you, you couldn't fight back. If they steal from you, you couldn't fight back. If they tried to sell your child away illegally, you couldn't fight back. So we need to understand something. White America, going back to the plantation, white America has always felt, Art, that they have absolute jurisdiction over the black body. This goes back to slavery when they owned us. They owned us. Old habits die hard. And since you have a legacy in this country, a custom and a culture where black people don't even have the right to protect their own body, you get this situation that we are dealing with now with our 17-year-old brother down in Frisco, Texas, Carmelo Anthony. Now, first, white folks, when they heard about this situation, they automatically tried to paint him like a criminal, but that didn't work, Art, because he's a 3.73 GPA student. He's the captain of at least 2 sports teams. He has no prior criminal history. And then they said, well, he's just another little ghetto boy. That didn't work, Art. He comes from a 2-parent home where they work and they live in an affluent suburban part of Frisco, Texas. So the ghetto narrative that the media likes to paint on black men accused of physical violence did not work with Carmelo. So what do we know about this case? Carmelo Anthony was at a track meet. Some people claim it was a district track meet. Others claim it was a community track meet, but children from the district were there. I don't know for sure. It'll come out in court as to whether this was a school district track meet or whether this was a community track meet that simply included children from the school district. I don't know for sure. Then they say the weapon used in this self-defense act was a knife. Some people saying it was not a knife, but it was a tool that is used to clean cleats? We don't know. We will have to see when the case takes place in trial. However, Art, what we do know is it was raining that day at the track meet. It was raining. Karmelo wanted to escape the rain. And as you know, Art, when it's raining and you want to escape it, you'll run to the closest tent you can find. It don't matter if it's your school's tent. It don't matter if it's my school's tent. It don't matter if it's your team's tent. It don't matter if it's the other team's tent. I don't want to get soaking wet, so I'm going to go sit under a tent. I'm not bothering nobody. I'm minding my business. I'm just trying to keep dry. So then the two Hunter boys see him. Hunter and Austin. And they decide to approach and engage Karmelo. Now, the media is being dishonest about this situation, Art. The media is claiming that this was a one-to-one fisticuff between Hunter, and Karmelo. I'm going to say between one of the brothers because I keep getting the names mixed up. I believe it was Hunter, and I do want to say rest in peace to him. My condolences to his father, his family. Nobody deserves to lose a child. Black, white, red, yellow, or brown, nobody deserves to lose a child. Not at that age, regardless of who fault it was. I'm sorry they lost their child. Amen. Condolences to the family. Facts. So R.I.P. Hunter comes and engages Karmelo with his brother Austin. Hunter and Austin tell Karmelo, you're under the wrong tent. Get from under the tent. Karmelo says, I'm just trying to stay dry or get dry. Leave me alone. Hunter, rest in peace, smacks the phone out of Karmelo's hand. He smacks the phone out of his hand, and the other brother, Austin, allegedly, goes to get his book bag. Now, Art, I want to put this in perspective for you, Art. Carmelo Anthony is 160 pounds. Rest in peace, Hunter is 225-pound football player. Hunter is nearly 60, 70 pounds heavier than Carmelo by himself. But he was not by himself, Art. Hunter was with his brother Austin. Austin is around Hunter's size as well. So what you have in this situation, Art, is a 160-pound skinny black boy minding his business. And here comes two racist white boys who decide that they're going to remove this black boy from their tent with force. So you got to ask yourself something, Art. If I'm a 160-pound black boy, two white boys in racist Texas, both of whom are 60 to 70 pounds heavier than me, they come to accost me physically, knock my phone out my hand, try to grab my bag, try to throw me out. The media is making you think it's only one. But guess what, Art? I've been text messaged by eyewitnesses. I have received text messages from eyewitnesses. And you know what they told me, Art? They said both brothers tried to jump Karmelo. Both brothers tried to jump Karmelo. This was not a one-on-one fight. It was 2-on-1, but Austin doesn't want to tell the truth because if he tells the truth, Art, that helps Karmelo to establish his right to stand his ground.
Now, see, now this is new information I never heard. This is why I keep telling people it's hard to do this. It's hard to stay biased because I was like shaking my head. No, he trying to play the race card. No, he trying to do this. No, they twins. I didn't know that Carmelo Anthony's 160s, give a few pounds, take a few pounds. And the other dude is big. He a middle linebacker type big. And he got a twin brother. You can imagine the twin ain't no skinny dude either. You got two big Now he's saying racist white boys. I don't think they was racist white boys. You got to show me the proof of that. But long story short, they saying that they got witnesses saying that they both of them was attacking him. Not attacking, but probably trying to push him out of the tent, so to speak. Let's keep going.
Want to tell the truth, because if he tells the truth, Art, that helps Karmelo to establish his right to stand his ground. In the state of Texas, Art, you have the right to stand your ground. You know what that means? That means you have no duty to flee when you are approached by somebody trying to harm you. In the state of Texas, you do not have to run. In the state of Texas, if somebody is approaching to harm you, you have no duty to run. And if you feel that your life or safety is in imminent danger, you have a right to defend yourself, to include using deadly force. So when you hear people say, why didn't he run? First of all, it was raining. So I assume the ground was wet. These two boys, troublemakers, respectfully, but they were troublemakers. They were athletes, so I'm sure they could run as well. But more than that, Art, Texas's stand your ground law did not require Karmelo to run. He had a right to stand and defend himself. And I'm going to say that if I am Karmelo Anthony's lawyer, I am arguing to the jury. My client felt that his safety was in imminent threat, that he felt he was about to be harmed by two football playing brothers, both of whom weighed 60 to 70 pounds more than him, and with a combined weight, Art, of nearly 500 pounds. A combined weight, these two brothers, Austin and Hunter, of nearly 500 pounds against this one skinny 160-pound black boy, Karmelo. Under those circumstances, Art, I believe that he had a right to stand his ground. If I'm 160 pounds and two football playing brothers with a combined weight of more than 400, nearly 500 pounds are coming to jump me, and I'm only 160 pounds, and I'll warn them, touch me again and see what happens. He's warning them, Art. He's warning them. I don't want no trouble. But if y'all think y'all going to hurt me and do damage to me, I'm going to do whatever I can to protect myself. And according to the law, Art, he was within his right to do so. I don't think he intended to kill the brother. I think he just intended to jab him so he would back off. But when you are afraid, when you are scared, when you are timid, when you are fighting for your life, Art, you will do anything. How many women have shot and killed domestically abusive husbands and didn't do it on purpose? How many women have shot and killed domestically abusive husbands, but they didn't do it on purpose? They did it out of fear that I need to act before he acts. And if I miss, I might die. He could have been beat to death that day, Art. Karmelo Anthony could have been beat to death that day, and instead he chose to stand his ground. So what's the problem then, Art? Why are white folks all up in arms over this? Y'all wasn't up in arms when Breonna Taylor got murdered. Y'all wasn't up in arms when Trayvon got murdered. Y'all wasn't up in arms with Freddie Gray or Philando Castile or Tamir Rice or Sandra Bland. Y'all wasn't up in arms with Amir Locke, Sonia Massey, all these black people murdered by police and so-called vigilante white people. Y'all didn't say nothing about them. Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines, Art.
Wow.
Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines, bought a rifle, crossed state lines, unalived two people, injured many others, and he went home free. No conviction. George Zimmerman pursued Trayvon Martin with a gun, shot him in cold blood. He went home. No conviction. Daniel Penny choked our brother Jordan Neely to death in a New York City subway. Daniel Penny choked Jordan Neely to death in a New York City subway, Art. No conviction. Daniel Penny pursued Jordan Neely. George Zimmerman pursued Trayvon Martin. Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines and pursued trouble, and they went home without a charge. Carmelo Anthony was sitting under a tent so he couldn't get wet.
Wow, that's crazy.
He was sitting under a tent so he couldn't get wet, and two racist white boys, rest in peace to Hunter. Condolences to his family. But these two racist white boys thought they had a right to forcibly move this black boy from that space. White people have always felt that they had jurisdiction over the black body. It goes back to the plantation days, Art. The problem with this case is the stand your ground law was meant for white people to be used against black people. The stand your ground law was meant for white people to be used against black people. It was never intended for black people to use the stand your ground law to defend themselves against white people. And guess what, Art? White people don't care whether or not Karmelo is justified or not. They don't care. Even if it is proven that Karmelo acted in self-defense, and it will be, they don't care. The problem with white folks is in this country, black people do not have a right to defend themselves from Caucasians. This is a 400-year-old practice. This is a 400-year-old norm. This is a 400-year-old culture. This is a 400-year-old custom, Art. So he not in court fighting against the law. The law is on Karmelo's side. The problem is, the basic problem of this case in Frisco, Texas, Art, is a black boy valued his own life enough. A black boy valued his own life enough to take the life of a Caucasian in order to defend it. And in American history, you rarely come across black men, let alone a child, who valued his life enough and had courage enough to defend himself against two racists who were trying to harm him. And let me say this, Art. People are talking about, why did he have a knife? He's a black man in Texas. Why wouldn't he have a knife? Are they crazy? If you black in America, Art, you better be carrying something. And check it out, Art. In Texas, guess what? It is perfectly legal to carry a knife in Texas as long as the blade doesn't exceed 5.5 inches. So if Carmelo Anthony had a knife on him, that doesn't make him a criminal. After all, isn't this Texas? Isn't this the state that prides itself on allowing its citizens to openly carry guns without no license to carry? So if this is a state that prides itself on allowing its citizens, Art, to openly carry guns, firearms, without a registered license to carry, how can you be upset with a 17-year-old black boy who carries a knife for self-protection? He had a right to have that knife. He was not breaking the law to have that knife, because Texas law allows children even to carry knives as long as the blade doesn't exceed the 5.5. And the harassment and bullying against his family, Art, completely unacceptable. They threatening the family life. They threatening to harm their home. His father had to leave his job to stay home with his wife and children because white people driving by in cars, threatening their life. They are literally under siege. But you know what's so hypocritical about this, Art? White people have always told us what, Art? They say, wait until the courts have administered justice, and whatever the courts decide is the letter of the law. Don't they always tell us that this is a country of laws, that you don't take the law into your own hands? They told us that with George Floyd. They told us that with Breonna, Freddie Gray, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Amir Locke. Every time a black person is killed, we're supposed to sit down, hold our emotions, fold our hands, Art, and wait for the racist, criminal, injustice system to run its course. Well, why aren't they doing the same thing with Karmelo? Why is his family being intimidated? Why are they being threatened? Why did his father have to take off of work? And then they accuse them of tapping into the GoFundMe money when they didn't even tap into the GoFundMe money. They lied and said they went and bought a big house. They already had a house. They lied and said they went out and bought a car. They already had a car. Why y'all lying on this black family? Y'all raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the police killers of black people. Y'all raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions, for the white civilian killers of black people. If y'all can raise money for your killers, why can't we raise money for one of our children who had to take a life in order to defend his own? I stand with Karmelo Anthony. I stand with his family. I hope that God and the ancestors will bring justice to this situation. I hope Black Texas shows up and shows out at the Karmelo Anthony trial. We cannot let that family be alone. Every black person in Texas, every black person in America even needs to be at that Frisco County courthouse when this case is tried. We need to let America know you don't have a right to put your hands on us and not expect us to fight back. And you know what's the most ironic thing about this whole piece, Art? The most ironic thing about the Karmelo Anthony case.
What's that?
Because Karmelo sacrificed and stood up for himself. The most ironic outcome, Art, of the Karmelo Anthony controversy is because that young man was courageous enough to defend his own life. And unfortunately, it resulted in the loss of life for his assailant, one of his assailants. Now, when white kids bully black kids, they're going to have to think twice now, Art. Karmelo Anthony should be honored, not for taking nobody's life. We don't honor death. We never do that. But for having the courage to stand up to two white bullies who are much bigger than him. Rest in peace to Hunter, who I believe lost his life. Because he had the courage to stand up to two bullies. Now, every black kid in America who's being bullied by white kids, those white kids are now going to think twice about what they're doing. Because if you keep it up, when you back somebody into a corner with fear and concern for their safety, it might not work out for you. And I can tell you, Art, as a certified school psychologist who works in schools, when white children bully black children, nothing is done about it. Let me say that again. I'm talking California to Pennsylvania. I'm talking Texas to Connecticut and everywhere in between. When white kids bully black kids, nothing is done about it. There is a white privilege in America's public schools. There's a white privilege in America's charter schools. There's a white privilege in America's independent schools. For all we know, and I'm not going to put this on them, but for all we know, Hunter and Austin could have a history of bullying black kids. And it finally caught up to them. And I don't say that to be insensitive, but white kids, just like white people, feel as though they have jurisdiction over the black body. And thanks to Karmelo Anthony, they will all have to think twice about that now. Black power.
Wow, you talk about a whole different outlook. I wasn't there. I don't know. I'm just going by my gut feeling. I really, really don't think that these twins did any type of bullying. I think it was more of a track team. Yo, man, it's our tent. You leave our tent. What's wrong with you? And they probably did it on a higher level. They didn't come up to him and say, excuse me, opposing team, guy that we about to race against. Apparently this is our tent. They didn't go nowhere near like that. But I've just found some new information now. I don't know. I'm not gonna say somebody lying. I'm just going by what the information he says, that he got proof. They got facts that other people was there. People seen it. People know what happened. People heard the two brothers jumping on the one guy, and the little one dude, I don't know. He probably was just trying to get out of the rain, right? Oh shoot, it's raining. Get out the rain. You know, we dress down in our uniforms to run. We don't need to get wet, catch a cold, whatever. Get out of the rain. So everybody's running to get out of the rain. So I don't know if it's normal for everybody who's trying to get out of the rain. Is it normal to try to get out of the rain and actually go to anybody's tent? Or you got to go to your own tent? I don't know. But what I do know is, bruh, it's going to be real hard to claim self-defense, man. I'm not saying, because we don't know all the information. Now we got witnesses that's claimed that both brothers was abusing and talking bad on him, and he stood his ground. In Texas, there's a stand your ground law. I don't know this stuff. We guessing. We got to see the courts. Man, I would love to be down there at this court hearing to see what's going down. So, hey, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. So this is the other side. Dr. Umar, I really respect what he's saying and everything. I really think people play the race card way too hard. Dr. Umar played the race card hard as you can get it, baby. You know, so I try to look at everything without the race card. But again, if they're getting a lot of threats, you know, I mean, this dude killed somebody, man, black or white. And even if you're racist or not, man, you got aunts and uncles and cousins and best friends and all my friends. This dude was a superhero in his high school. So you got the whole high school to worry about on both sides, man. On both sides. Yo, this is ugly. It's getting, the more I think about it, the uglier it's getting, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Hey, I'm gonna get on up out of here. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.